We are going to learn about binomial distribution today. Previously, we have seen what is a random variable and different types of random variables. We have two types of random variables. One is discrete random variable and the next one is continuous random variable. If the data, if x takes a value uh, which is finite, I mean if it takes discrete data, then we call that particular random variable as discrete random variable, and we could we could use discrete random variable for binomial distribution and Poisson distribution, then hypergeometric distributions and so on. If a random variable x takes a value which is continuous in nature, then we call that random variable as continuous random variable, and we use continuous random variable for in normal distribution. So let us start with binomial distribution now. If x is a random variable, then probability of x in distribution function is given by p of x is equals to ncx, p to the power of x and q to the power of n minus x. P is the probability of success, Q is the probability of failure, and as we know, P plus Q is equals to 1. The total probability should be equal to 1. We can calculate the value of Q if we know what is P. So Q is equals to 1 minus P. Same thing is given here, and N here is the number of trials, and X indicates it's a random variable which represents the number of successes in n trials. Now if we are using discrete data as the value for a random variable, then we use probability mass function. Now this is the probability mass function for binomial distribution. If it's discrete random variable, then the probability function is called probability mass function. If it is continuous random variable, the probability function is called probability density function. So here this is the probability mass function for binomial distribution, and this is also the expected value. Probability of x is also called as the expected value. We are estimating a value, that is the reason it is the expected value. Now if you have n and p, we can multiply these two terms to get the mean of a data set. Then n into p into q will give the variance, and standard deviation is given by square root of npq. Okay, now let us see an example for binomial distribution and see how we can fit a binomial distribution to the given data. The following data shows the number of seeds germinating out of 10 on a damp filter of 80 sets. So we have two numbers here, 80 and 10. 80 is the capital N, that is the population, and 10 is the sample size, small n, of seeds. Fit a binomial distribution to this data. So x is if the seed is germinating or not. This is a random variable x, and y here is nothing but the frequency. So we have 0 seeds germinating, we have 1 seed, we have 2 seeds germinating, we have 3 seeds, and so on. Like that we have 10 seeds germinating. And what is the frequency of the seeds germinating? We have 6, 20, 28, 12, 8, 6, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, now first let us see how to start. If this data is given, let us see how to start. We only have n is equals to 10 and capital N is equals to 80. Okay, but according to the formula, we have ncx, we know this value. We do not know what is p, what is the probability of success, nor we know what is q. We have x values, we have x starting from 0 to 10. Okay, so let us see how to calculate p, how to calculate q, and how to fit a distribution for the given data. Okay, so we have x values. Now first step is to find the mean for the given data. We have x and we have frequencies. So do you remember how to find the mean? First we have to find f into x. Okay, 0 into 6 is 0, 1 into 20 is 20, then 2 into 28 is 56. 3 into 12, 36. 4 into 8, 32. 5 into 6, 30. 6 into 0, 0. 7 into 0, 0. 8 into 0, 9 into 0, 10 into 0. Now what is n? Here it should be equal to 80. So if I take if we calculate the frequencies, we are getting it is equal to 80. So this is true because we have capital N is equals to 80. Then let us find the summation of f into x. What do we get? 20 plus 56 plus 56 plus 32 plus 30. This is 174. Now how will you find the mean? Mean is equals to summation f into x by n, isn't it? If we remember the formula of mean. So 174 by 80. So keep it like this. Okay, we have calculated the mean from the given data. Now we know that in a binomial distribution, mean is equals to n into p. Okay, we know the value of n. N is equals to 10 and p we don't know. Let us calculate. Equal to, what is the mean that we got from the data is 174 by 80. So p is equals to 174 by 800. So let us find the value. 174 by 800, it is 0.217. 0.2175. Let us take 4 decimal points. Now if we know p, we can calculate q. Since p plus q is equals to 1, p is 0.2175 plus q is equals to 1. Q is equals to 1 minus 0.2175, which is equals to 1 minus 0.2175, which is equals to 0.7825. Now let us find the probabilities for each of the values of x. So the probability of x for binomial distribution is given by ncx, p to the power of x, q to the power of n minus x. Same thing, I'm substituting the values. N is equals to 10 cx, p is 0.2175 to the power of x, q is 0.7825 to the power of n minus x. Now substitute the values of x in each of the for each of the variable of the variable, and then write the values. So once we substitute the values in the formula, we are going to get these values. So this value I got when I substituted x is equals to 0, 10c 0, 0.2175 to the power of 0, and 0.7825 to the power of 10 minus 0 is 10. So like that, for each and every value of x you substitute in the formula and you're going to get these values. So for x is equals to 1, 10c1, 0.2175 to the power 1, and 0.7825 to the power of 10 minus 1 is 9. So like that, you substitute for all the values. Here you're going to get 10c10, 0.2175 to the power of 10, 0.7825 to the power of 0. 10 minus 10 is 0. So I got this. You get a very big value, so I approximated it to 0. Okay, then the next column we are supposed to p of x is nothing but the expected value of x, and you multiply this expected value of x with n, capital N. N is equals to the population size, which is equals to 80. So now whatever values you got as p of x, now multiply it to the value 80, which is the sample size, to get the expected value into the sample size. P of x is nothing but the expected value. These are the predicted values. Predicted values are nothing but the mathematical expectations. The mean is nothing but the mathematical expectations. In binomial distribution, probability is nothing but the expected value. Now when I multiply 80 with every probability that I got in the previous column, in this column I'm going to get, I got all these values. Once you add all these values, they should be equal to 80. When I calculated the values, I got 80.014, so which is approximately equal to 80, which is the population size. So if you get this value, then that means you were successful in fitting the data into binomial distribution. That is the reason you have to calculate the last column to see if we can fit the data into binomial distribution. Okay, this is how the problem ends. Now if they ask you a question, if they want to find out in the given data, now the question was, the following data shows number of seeds germinating out of 10 on a damp filter of 80 sets of seeds. Now if they ask you a question, what is the probability that exactly 6 seeds germinating? So you have to calculate p of 6. Okay, p of 6. So we have already calculated p of 6 here. Okay, so p of 6 here is equals to 0.0083. that is, if I convert it into percentages, I am going to get 0.8%. so the probability that exactly 6 seeds are germinating is 0.8%. so that is how you calculate the probabilities, or find the probabilities from the given distribution. Let us see another example for binomial distribution. Now I'll give you some more problems to fit the binomial distribution. I hope you understood this part. Please let me know in the group. So we have another example for binomial distribution here. Let us before I start this question, I wanted to tell you binomial distribution has only two outcomes, either success or failure. That is why it is called binomial. Bi means two, so either success or failure. So in this question, if you see, the incidence of a certain disease is such that on the average 20% of the workers suffer from it. Okay, if 10 workers are selected at random, find the probability that exactly 2 workers suffer, not more than 2 workers suffer from the disease. Okay, now what is the probability of success here, or what is x? X is success. Success is person being infected or person having a certain this particular disease that has been mentioned, so that is success. P is the X is the event where person is having a disease. That is the value which is equals to P. Then Q is the failure, person not having a disease. Okay, now in the question they have given that the incidence of a certain disease is such that on an average 20% of the workers suffer from it. So 20 people out of 100 are suffering, so they have already given us the probability of people suffering of the disease. This is success. Okay, so we already know P is equals to 20 by 100. This is 0.2. Now calculating Q is easy from this, right? Q is equals to 1 minus P, which is equals to, or let me keep it in fractions. 20 by 100 is equals to 21 is 25, so this is 1 by 5. So how will I write 1 minus P? 1 minus 1 by 5. This is 5 minus 1 by 5, 4 by 5. Okay, so P plus Q, 1 by 5 plus 4 by 5 is equals to 5 by 5, which is equals to 1. So proved, right? P plus Q is equals to 1. So we have found p value, we have found q. Now we are supposed to find the probability that exactly 2 workers are suffering. So p of 2 is equals to, what is the formula? NC2. P is 1 by 5 to the power of 2. Q is 4 by 5 to the power of n minus 2. Now what is n? If 10 workers are selected at random, so n is equals to 10. So substitute, we would get 10C2 1 by 5 to the power of 2 and 4 by 5 to the power of 10 minus 2 is 8. So I have calculated the value here. We get 0.301. So the probability is 30%. If we multiply this with 100, we get 30.1. 30.1% is the probability that exactly 2 workers suffer from the given disease. Now the second question, we have solved the first one. Second one, not more than 2 workers suffer from the disease. So what are the numbers which are not more than 2? So x should be less than or equal to 2, right? Not more than 2 means what? It should be less than or equal to, p of x should be less than or equal to 2. What all values are less than or equal to 2? P of x is equals to 0, 1 value. P of x is equals to 1, this is less than 2. P of x is equals to these 3 values. It should, x value should not be more than 2. So we have to add all these values to get this probability of the second question. This is the second question. Okay, so we have to calculate p of 0, we have to calculate p of 1, and we have to calculate p of 2, and then add. So 10C0 1 by 5 to the power 0 and 4 by 5 to the power 10. Then 10C1 1 by 5 to the power 1 and 4 by 5 to the power of 10 minus 1, 9. Then 10C2 1 by 5 to the power of 2, 4 by 5 to the power of 10 minus 2 is 8. So I have calculated the values. For p of 0 I got 1.1073, for p of 1 I got 0.2684, and for p of 2 the value is 0.3019. So I want the probability of the work of not more than 2 workers suffer from the disease. Okay, so p of x less than or equal to 2. So I have to add all the values which are less than or equal to 2. Now in the question, if they ask you to find out the workers, not more than 5 workers suffer, so you have to take p of 0 plus p of 1 plus p of 2 plus p of 3 plus p of 4 plus p of 5. If they say exactly 5, so you can directly calculate p of 5. If they say more than or less than, then you have to consider the inequations, or inequations, either less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. Okay, now coming back to the solution. So when you add all these values, you get 0.667, which is 67.7%. So probability that not more than 2 workers suffer from the disease is 67.7%. So this is how we use binomial theorem to calculate the problems where there are only 2 outcomes, either success, one is success and other one is failure. Now why are we specifically using binomial probability here is, now we cannot calculate, we cannot take the combinations here. It becomes difficult for us to see the combinations, how exactly 2 people are getting affected, or how exactly more than 2 people are getting affected, how exactly 5 people are getting affected. So it becomes difficult for us to write the sample space. So instead of writing a sample space, now for example, if I say 2 coins are tossed and I want to find the probability of getting 2 hits, the sample space will be I might get head head, I might get head tail, I might get tail head, and I might get a tail and tail. So this is the sample space. I have 4 instances. So if you want me to calculate probability of getting 2 heads, so favorable case is only 1 by 4. So this is the probability of getting 2 heads. Okay. Now if you want me to find a probability of getting 1 head, so this will become 2 by 4. Now here if you see, we have two outcomes, one is head and one is tail. We can use binomial distribution to calculate the same thing. You'll get the same values also, but if the number of sample spaces increases, now for example you have tossed only 2 coins, 2 power 2, you get only 4 sample space, 4 values in the sample space. Now for example, if you are tossing 10 coins at a time, 2 power 10, then you're going to get 1 0 2 4 number of elements in the sample space. So like this you're going to get 1 0 2 4. How will you calculate? You have to sit for a day or two to write down all these values. So that is the reason, instead of calculating, wasting the time using the normal probabilities, we can use binomial distribution to calculate the probabilities. Okay. Now let me write this one instance for you. In this particular probability, n is equals to 10. We are tossing n coins. Probability of success is 1 by 2. Probability of failure is 1 by 2. Getting ahead is one chance is 50%. So 50 by 100 is 1 by 2. And failing is also 50%. Then if I want to calculate x is equals to 100, now probability of getting a head, I want 5 heads. What is the probability? So NC5, 1 by 5 to the power of 5, sorry, 1 by 2 to the power of 5 and 1 by 2 to the power of n minus 5. So this is n minus 5. N is equals to 10. 10c5, 1 by 2 to the power of 5, 1 by 2 to the power of 5. So this is the value. You just calculate the value you're going to get. So this becomes simple for us. When the sample space is huge, it becomes simple for us to calculate the probabilities when we use binomial distribution. But be careful when you're using binomial distribution to solve the probabilities. Binomial distribution has an assumption the outcomes will only be 2, either success or failure. It has to be dichotomous. Okay. uh, Now if the sample space is infinite, now this is for finite sample space. If it is infinite and we are not sure what is the value of n, or it becomes if it's a huge number, then in that case we use Poisson distribution. So we'll continue with Poisson distribution in the next session. Thank you.